a spot that I've occupied a number of times in the last few days, and the reason for that is quite simply because I've located some fish. As I often say, they won't be active this time of the year, certainly not anywhere near that they are during the warmer months of the year. So think about where they'll be, think about the features, target them, and like I've done, I've dropped on some fish. So I'll continue to fish here for as long as I am enjoying it. That's what fishing's about, isn't it? I won't be here in 6 months' time. It's just a phase that I'm going through in terms of that I'm enjoying fishing here, because that's also important as well. It ticks all the boxes for me. It's a Monday morning. I have got a fairly busy day ahead as well, so I can get an hour's fishing in at first light. That's great. Otherwise I probably wouldn't be able to get out today. I've just cast out. I was walking to the canal, walking to the place where I fish, and a man said to me, I've got my net in my hand ready. He said, that's optimism. I said, it's confidence. And it's like life itself. When you step into it believing that you will succeed. It's no good going fishing thinking it's a waste of time, I'm going through the motions, I'm not even going to set my net up, because you can forget sometimes just how important confidence is in fishing, in life itself. I put some brown crumb and maggots out. I'm fishing maggot on the hook, and I'll be back with a perch. That's confidence for you, isn't it? There is a difference between confidence and arrogance, very much so. We need to understand that, of course. A lively fish, but nevertheless, it's on the bank, and the first one, as I so often say, is important because you're not a blanker. The fish has now gone back to its watery home. Just before I caught that, another passerby. Have you caught anything? He said. I said, not yet. I would say not yet, because I'm positive, I'm anticipating catching something. And as he made his way off, he said, good luck. I don't believe in luck. Of course there are those things in life that happen that are beyond our control, and they drop right for us when they could have gone either way. So in that sense, there's the unknown. We don't know how it will work out, and sometimes it drops right and sometimes it doesn't. But in the context of catching fish, I don't believe in luck. I believe in watercraft. I believe that you think your sessions through. I believe that you put yourself in the right place, you go for the right bait, the right tactics, choose the right rod, set up in the right way, do the right things. And what happens is you then, each little box that you tick, you start to put yourself more in the driving seat as opposed to the fish calling the shots. So when you go fishing, don't think it's an adventure of luck, because it isn't. That session that you embark upon is far from random. You can do so much to create an environment, even when the conditions aren't ideal. It's very clear on the canal. We've had a reasonably mild night because we had cloud cover come down. It was quite chilly yesterday, but the cloud cover's come down. That's raised the temperature slightly, air temperature, but the water temperature actually is okay. It is falling, but I'm happy with that, and I do record that, of course, in the written blogs that accompany the videos. But the point I'm making now is an important one. Don't treat your angling sessions as if it's like tossing a coin. Could be heads, could be tails, could be bad, could be good. You could catch, you could blank. Go into those sessions with confidence, not arrogance. That's something I mentioned earlier, that's important to bear in mind. But go into those sessions with confidence, believing that you've done enough to put you in a position whereby you will catch. And I'm just striking the fish now. I'm going to lift this one out actually, because it's not that big, and it's, as I've often referred to, hooked nice and cleanly there, the edge of the mouth. A small perch, but I'm in the right place and also at the right time as well. First light. That's a nice enough perch. There is a lull between the action because I'm right on top of the canal, so there is a certain disturbance every time I hook and land a fish. Nevertheless, it's well worth the wait. The bait's back in and the waiting game begins again. Hopefully a fourth fish, that would be quite nice. While I am waiting though, I often refer to my website. I've been blogging since July the 5th, 2003, and that started off as a Saturday publication. It then became a couple of times a week. Now it's every day, and it covers all sorts of things, not just fishing. It's a personal blog. In fact, I titled my blog some years ago now, Welcome to My World, because that's exactly what it is. And take perch fishing for example. There's a search engine on the home page of the site, so if you go on there, type in perch fishing, you'll get every blog entry that I've ever done on that particular subject or that mentions those words. If you want to be more specific, you can type in canal perch or lure fishing for perch, mini jigging, drop shotting, mepsaglia, and then you start to narrow down the search. I do find it's quite useful. I use it myself if I want to refer to something, maybe a venue that I haven't been on for a couple of years, and I want to see how I got on, and because I do keep a very basic diary of just the catch reports. But it's nice sometimes to remind yourself of the conditions at the time and the tactics that you used, the approach that you went for, etc. So if you are interested, perhaps you're a beginner and you're hungry for knowledge, you're thirsty for information, then on my website I certainly would recommend the search engine. I get a lot of people who contact me saying, have you got any information on perch? Could you give me some tips on barbel fishing? And what I do is I point them to the search engine, and do you know, a lot of them don't even click, because I know from the stats that I get, I don't know who goes on there, I don't know the names or where they're from or anything like that, but I do have stats, and it tells me what pages or what has been clicked. So if I'm talking to someone, in fact I was on holiday a couple of years ago, and there was a man in a caravan. He was an angler, coarse angler, hadn't done much sea fishing, and he saw me walking to the beach, and he said, what's it like down there? I said, it's okay, it's good, I do catch some fish from there. And then he started asking me questions, and I said to him, are you on the internet? And he said, yes. I said, go on, type in Barmouth, and then you'll get all the blog entries that I've done ever. But the recent ones, although I might not necessarily mention the particular beach or whatever, but they're actually here. So if you go on there, you'll find out all that stuff. He didn't go on, because I know that, because I didn't get, as you would expect, 10 or 15 clicks on blog entries relating to the beach. But I saw him down there, just randomly casting out. But if you'd have gone on, you would have seen my references to where to fish, why I fish there, because there's a sandbank and there's a little gully alongside it. So I put the bait in the gully, because that, even at low water, still remains wet. That's where the water birds feed, the seabirds, the waders, that's where they are, because that's where the food source is. So when the tide comes in, You will catch on top of the sandbank because fish are moving around, but if you want to be in their feeding zone, that's where you put the bait. So that's an example of why I would say search, research. Don't expect to be spoon-fed. Don't expect people to take you along, bait your rod up for you, put the bait, cast it out and put it in the spot for you. Think for yourself, because then when you do, back to watercraft, you start to develop that knowledge and the experience that then gives you the edge. So when you come back and you catch and the others on the beach didn't, and people will say, that was lucky, he's a lucky angler. You think to yourself, it's not luck, it's because I've done my research, I've thought it through, I was in the right place, I was confident because I'd ticked those boxes, and that's why I had the edge over the other fishermen on the beach. Anyway, it's gone fairly quiet out there. This will be a short window of opportunity with these perch, because as the sun comes up, the light levels increase and it is crystal clear on the canal, so the fish will back off slightly in terms of feeding. I've got a few more minutes though, and if I can catch another fish, that's great. If not, I'll tell you what, I'm happy with those perch this morning.